All right, testing, testing, testing. We are testing, 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 testing. We are testing. All right, can you test it too?
Yeah, it's live right now.
Can you test it too?
Yeah, it's live right now.
Okay. All right. So, how do you want to start this? I apologize, guys. But who's starting what?
You can start off, man.
All right. So, without further delay, me with the new computer, I actually had to, like, I created OBS. I made sure that the key for OBS was carried over to my new computer, and I guess because it's a new computer, it skipped the fuck out of it. It wasn't compatible with what we have here, which is very annoying, which is the reason why we are kind of late here. But without further ado, it's 20 minutes. It's whatever. Welcome to the PlayStation Culture Podcast. And today we are going to talk about three subjects. I'm sorry I'm a little bit disheveled because that shit was mad annoying. But we got some interesting things to say about the gaming industry and just gaming, just shit that's been going on this week. First and foremost, it's going to be about multiplayer games that Sony is making, just the standalone ones, and what's the implications for that one. Second, apparently Ghost of Tsushima is a ripoff. Apparently, it's a ripoff. And then thirdly, graphics obsession. You know, these fucking two frames, one line, a pixel. Everyone goes fucking off. They lose their fucking minds for a fucking pixel. That being said, we're gonna start off with
On
the
losing their minds.
yeah. So he got the reference. He understood that reference. Um,
You gotta put some respect on that name.
but yeah. So we're gonna start off here on what is happening with Sony and their standalone games. See, this was very interesting to me. This was actually my subject. I was like, man, like that'd be really, really nice if Sony decides to, you know, do a almost like a, they think about it. Games are $70, right? Here's my argument: games are $70, and with them being $70, some people may not want the whole experience. You know what I'm saying? Let me just message myself. Let me see. Capital H. Hello, it's me. Okay. Some people may not actually want um multiplayer games or say single player games. Maybe they want to play. Maybe they don't have enough money to play multiplayer games. I mean, just single player games. Maybe they just want the multiplayer games. And what Sony did, what at least this is the start of it, Ghost of Tsushima, is to allow for um, a standalone, and it really is a full fledged multiplayer game. Like it's super involved with many many different modes and trophies and things like that. I think it's just trophy skin, right? Is it trophies in there?
I think they have some new ones, yeah.
Okay, so there are trophies in there. So there's trophies, legitimate trophies, which is you know I actually I respect that. I'm glad that they have things of that nature inside the game itself, which is pretty cool. But what if they had like what happened if Horizon Forbidden West comes out with a multiplayer game and they sell that for like $20 and people that cannot spend the $70 for their game, maybe they can get a taste of it, and then eventually, when the price goes down, they could pick up the single player portion. I know this is my topic, but what do you got to say about that? If Sony goes the route of making little bite-sized multiplayer games, 'cause I feel like honestly, Sony wants the PlayStation Plus to be viable, and they need to fill it with content. And sometimes the content isn't there. Some people complain so much. Oh my gosh, I gotta pay blah 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 blah. So, how do you feel about that?
Um, I mean, I feel like I feel like it kind of already falls in line with what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So it would make more sense to me. That they would have some of these, like smaller, like standalone multiplayer games. Um, Especially ones that are, I would say, ones that are easier to get into as well. You know what I'm saying? Which I think that's pretty much where you're coming from, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
something that people can jump into. That's kind of easy to get into, kind of thing that can appeal to a lot of people, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I do think that that's kind of already, some of the things that they're, at least the direction that they're going. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get multiplayer experiences that are, obviously smaller, um, to try and get people into, whatever, just into their IP. You know what I'm saying? I think that they're trying to cover their bases, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
In what way?
Um, in terms of uh, like not only having like their single player games, but
Oh,
also
by the way, I'm sorry. Let me hold that thought. So Pablo's in here. Devil Shooter's in there. Yo, what's going on, Devil Shooter? And Pablo said that you're hot. Continue, please. I just wanted to kind of gas you up there a
I
little bit.
I wasn't even looking at the chat, but yeah, it's
Look at he's
as
blushing
far
with his yellow face.
that's not light. How do you think I stay skinned year round, man?
Yeah, because you hide in the fucking dark.
I stay away from my vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? but but yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say is basically uh like I think they're trying to cover their bases as far as like having their single player games, but then also because we already know that they're trying to do more multiplayer style games, obviously. But I do think that it makes sense that they would kind of like at least on a micro level, kind of introduce like more, like you said, like more standalone, smaller games that are kind of like more in line with the games that they already have, like Ghost of Tsushima and whatnot, um, The Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't know. That might that one might actually be a bigger project, but it just seems like they're trying to cover their bases. Even with the multiplayer stuff, they're trying to do like these like little micro adjustments. It seems you know what I'm saying. Um, to kind of like cover the like as many people as possible. You know. So,
So
but
I guess, and right now I'm kind of working on. I got to do all these different things at once. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. But the thing is, I was kind of thinking about this. What game would you like to see to have like a multiplayer standalone? Yo, what's good?
yo
What
yo yo,
was
what's up?
chatting? Fuck niggas. I I don't know what that was, man. Yo, don't forget, Black. Yo, we're Returnal brothers. Never forget. Um, and I
um,
misspelled graphics. How the fuck did that happen? I must have said it in my head the way I thought.
you spelled it with an
Graphics.
H.
Yeah, I know. That's fixed though. So shut up.
Graphics.
Graphics.
Graphics. Graphics.
Graphics. He said never. Oh shit. No, but what? So since you guys are here, since the chat is here, right? I'm kind of curious to know, and I'm sorry for being late, yo. Let me tell you, this is why I don't like fucking PCs, right? This is the biggest issue with PCs, by the way. Like, there's so many nuanced things. I've been ever hear somebody talk about how easy it is to fucking do move to PC and shit like that. That shit was a fucking shit show. But what do you guys want to see? Um, I think that looks better. What do you guys want to see
Oh shit show.
for a multiplayer game for Sony? Now you have my undivided attention.
So when you say Sony, you mean like specifically just their first party?
Yeah, I don't ever talk about no damn first party. I mean third party. I ain't doing that shit.
um So you mean like with an existing IP kind of thing?
Yo, you know what though? Warhawk was a standalone. It was a standalone multiplayer game,
It was.
and it was $40. I remember that it was $40, and it came with a Bluetooth.
Yeah, but that wasn't Sony though,
That was
was it?
Sony. Yeah.
Was it? Who was it?
Hmm.
Who was the developer again?
They're gone now. Um,
It wasn't Zipper.
no, it's not Zipper. Devil Shooter. What was it again? Who did it? Let me take a look here.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. To be honest with you, man, I never, I never played Warhawk, man.
Disrespectful.
Um,
A
yeah,
bitch.
I never. Yeah, because when the PS3 first came out, man, I didn't jump on it like everybody else did. I was broke at the time, so um, but
Terrible.
luckily,
Forget it. Damn, that's
luck,
a tough one. Just a fun game, but not sure what I want a multiplayer from Sony. That's interesting because this is coming from like a neutral. I like to call Pablo a neutral. Um, what the fuck was it? Damn it. Who? You know what? Fuck it. Who made Warhawk on PS3?
Santa Monica.
Incognito Entertainment with the help of Santa Monica. That's what it is. It was both of them. Santa Monica was putting in that work, yo. They did not want to get fired, yo. They was like, please, please save us. So, um, yeah. I don't know. I think Sony is pretty. I think we talked about this before, a little bit of it, but I think Sony is pretty competent when it comes to multiplayer games. In general. I mean, because like, what is the difference between like, mm, hmm, hmm.
Competent in what way? You mean like?
Oh yeah, Mag was a standalone multiplayer game too. There was no single player.
Yeah, I know that one was by Zipper Interactive.
Yeah, that one
Um,
was definitely Zipper.
yeah, but they're gone, man.
Yeah,
Everything is gone.
baby girl, you're gone. But um, people tend to not take Sony seriously when it comes to the multiplayer. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't take things seriously. They look at the shit and they're like, well, it's all right, you know, and I don't think that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that I don't think that people should be just kind of downplaying Sony. Did you ever play a multiplayer game
I mean,
from Sony like that you enjoyed other than Ghost? I mean, you liked PlayStation 3.
yeah. I mean, I remember like on the PS3, I used to play a lot of what you call it? Like Little Big Planet. Me and my niece used to play that a lot. And I played a lot of Uncharted 2, like a lot. Like I remember I used to wake up on Saturday mornings and that would literally be the first thing that I would do. I would jump on Uncharted 2 and and play that for hours. I mean, I would play that for fucking hours,
It
dude,
was
all
so
day.
lighthearted, man, but yet so fucking satisfying, man. It was so good. Me and my
Yeah.
friend used to play it for a couple of hours in sessions, right? And after a while, we would like, go to the store, get something to eat, talk about what happened, and then we would go back and fucking play it again for a few more hours. But but think about it like this, like you got the likes of Grand Theft Auto, right? And they can do like GTA Online and have that standalone, and people would actually like gobble that up. You know what I'm saying? Monster Hunter would be the closest thing to Horizon. So you think about it in that sense. Like, do you guys think that Sony is capable, right, of making a competent multiplayer game in the vein of Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty? What is that? Call of Duty and Destiny, those type of games.
I think if they do, it has to come from one of their first party, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Um because I don't know. This is one of the complaints that I've had about them in terms of their multiplayer. You know, I feel like some of the partnerships that they have that they've had with these developers or whatever, right, to make multiplayer games. I don't know. They've been kind of like hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? Um, Obviously, like some of the more recent d- um games would be something like Destruction All Stars. Then you had like Predator. I mean, those were like just they weren't really like great games. You know what I'm saying? So
I
so
mean,
I mean I feel like if they're gonna bring like a standalone multiplayer game that's going to be like like a multiplayer
wait,
game focused game.
give me a second. I want to be light skinned too.
So distasteful.
How unfortunate that you have me as a friend. I'm light skinned as well for the day. We both. Since you would have put a fucking ultraviolet light, whatever the fuck that spotlight is you have in your room. I know it ain't your computer screen that damn bright. Put that bitch on dark mode. No, I'm playing.
I turn this off, you won't see me, man. This is the only light that I keep on in this room, yo.
So no, the games that I'm talking about when it comes to you know multiplayer games under Sony, we're not talking about these offshoots and shit like that. I mean like directly from Sony, and we're not going to count Gran Turismo because that's like one of a kind type of situation. But I am curious as to see, you know what I'm saying, like how do you feel that if Sony could actually stand toe to toe with these people, like what would be the equivalent of Grand Theft Auto? You know what I'm saying? Like who would be able to make that shit?
Honestly, man, if anything, I would say a studio like Naughty Dog, man. That's because I mean Rockstar is one of the biggest studios in the industry, you know what I'm saying? So it's like um they put a lot of time and care into their multiplayer, you know what I'm saying?
So you got to
And the
understand
thing
when it comes to Naughty Dog, right? The reason why they are able to put that much attention to detail into their game is because it's linear. You know what I'm saying? Like they could pack a lot of shit in. Also, you look at Grand Theft Auto, it's like I think what is it, quadruple the size. You know what I'm saying? So no, there's
I
no
mean,
rage or anything like that. There's none of that there. I'm just saying I'm not mad at the sentiment of it. And Naughty Dog is essentially like a different company. I don't think that they're not the same company as they once were. Like they couldn't make a Jack and Dexter or any kind of Crash Bandicoot. They're different. They have the same type of principles and stuff like that in terms of animations and graphics and story, but it's different. I don't think that they will be able to make a giant game like that.
well, I mean, if you're specifically talking about just like an equivalent to something like Grand Theft Auto, I don't know. I mean, it's not really like in their vein, but um at the same time, I mean, the question was, do you do like which studio do I think would be a competent studio to make like a multiplayer game?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no, that rivals Grand Theft Auto online.
Honestly, man, I don't really think any of the studios that they have right now can rival that type of uh if that's the case. I mean, if I were to say any studio would be the most competent, I would say someone like Naughty Dog. You know what I'm saying? And if, in my personal opinion, if they can't do something like that, then I don't really think any of the other
Anyone?
studios. Yeah, no, because I mean, it's just not the style of game that they make. You know what I'm saying? They're more focused on obviously single player games, um, single player story driven games and stuff like that. And then they toss in, like in some of these cases, this multiplayer aspect. Like Legends or whatever the case, right? And you were talking about Horizon. They might do that too. Um,
I
but
think so. I think that they
which
will.
which they might. You know what I'm
Which
saying?
I don't even think, you know how much I like Guerrilla Games. I don't think they're competent in doing it either. To be honest with you, the only people competent, and they would need a lot more people, would be what is it, Team Soho, the what the fuck you call them motherfuckers, the getaway people. That was the only people that could rival it. You know what I'm saying? But think about it though.
Uh,
What do you say?
you said Team Soho.
hmm I don't think they exist anymore. To be clear, but think about it though. Um, if you look at the situation or look at let's go back. Let's go back on topic because I'm sorry, I'm like bouncing around. I'm kind of like hyper right now for whatever reason.
Discombobulated. Devil Shooter
So
said Insomniac can make a killer co-op game. I think they can too, man.
have
But
they
to
ever?
kind of
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. That's why I was going to. That's see when I saw Devil Shooter mention that shit. Let's look at the facts, right? If we go down the list and look at the games that were being made, you have Media Molecule, which did a really awesome with the Little Big Planet series in general. Not that it was that crazy, but you know, at least you had the platformers and stuff like that. You have them. Um, you have Sucker Punch with their new game, which is the Legends. So we can see what they're working with. Naughty Dog had The Last of Us, and they also had what basically third person shooter. You have Guerrilla Games, which did Killzone, which is be the first person genre.
it's not
Um,
open too at the same time.
say again.
It's not like an open game. It's not like a rival for something like Grand Theft Auto.
Right. They all look like all of the studios would have to pitch in and make that and make a Grand Theft Auto game. I mean that multiplayer game to make that work. And I think it would have been fucking. Could you imagine that? That'd be badass though.
It'd
If
be dope.
everybody,
Like, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be awesome. You know,
if they all pitched in.
yeah. Like
They
if
don't
they could
have
make that work.
no. They don't have Warhawk or the developer of Warhawk or SOCOM. So that's not there. What else do we have as a development studio? You got the San Diego studio. They do MLB. You have Polyphony Digital. They do racing. What
Yeah.
else? Who else is under?
Um.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
Insomniac. Insomniac did really nice multiplayer game or co-op, I
Resistance.
believe, with Resistance.
Resistance. Yeah. I mean, you have Gorilla, Insomniac. You have Naughty Dog. They've done multiplayer games. Uh. You have
Oh, I
Media
forgot.
Molecule,
I totally forgot the newly acquired.
Nexus.
No,
Which one?
newly acquired
Oh, Housemark.
Housemark. They done multiplayer games.
They have actually,
They
but
did.
in terms of like, I don't know,
Don't
man. In
take
terms of
this away from me.
a Grand Theft Auto scope style game, man.
No, I'm just looking at all the studios, not necessarily just Grand Theft Auto, just in general.
Yeah,
Are they real competent with it? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I feel like you know why people. I think people don't take Sony seriously when it comes to multiplayer games. I feel like the reason why is because they're one of the situations where they're easy to get into and kind of difficult to master. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
Killzone ceiling was so easy to hit. Resistance ceiling was so easy to hit. You know what I'm saying? Uncharted so easy to hit. The Last of Us, that was one of the games where you can get to the meta very easily. When you play stuff like Call of Duty, there's prestigious and all this other shit that makes it interesting. Which, speaking of which, I do believe Factions will definitely be a standalone game. But you know what? I think also, if you look at all of the studios together, I do believe that
get ready, get ready for that director's cut.
I don't think they're going to do a director's cut though. Like I think that from now on, if you guys would just humor me with this, I think from now on, what they're planning on doing is give. I remember. I don't know if it was the PS4 or the PS5. Do you remember this game where Sony was like, you can basically download the games in sections? You remember them saying something like that? Like if you the single player and multiplayer was supposed to be like separated. Does that ring a bell to you?
It does, but I'm trying to remember which console it was. Um,
I don't. Was it PS4?
I want to, I want to say it was, I want to say it was PS4, man, because I don't remember that being on the PS3. To be honest with you.
No, but it was either PS4 or PS5. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out where the direction was going to go towards because you look at it, and Devil should have remembers that because they were like they have. I think it was PS5. They have the ability for you to download. It was PS5. Thanks to download the games in sections, and just for downloading sake. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you downloading the whole game, you could just exclusively tackle a part that you want and leave the
Yeah,
rest.
I think that was the PS5. Yeah.
So if this
Um,
is the case, it looks like the direction that Sony is definitely going to go into. They're going to
yeah, because
go into this direction.
they did that with Call of Duty as well. And I know that's not Sony, but
Yeah, but that's
um,
that they're allowing the game to be broken up into pieces like that.
yeah.
Now, since I was talking forever, what is your take on this? If Sony decides to do it, how do you think they're going to roll this out?
I think more than likely if they do like these more standalone style games, it's going to be. I think it's a lot. I think a lot. Honestly, I think a lot of it's going to be through third party. To be honest with you,
We're
you know what I'm
not
saying?
talking about third party, man.
I
First
know, I
party.
know, I
I
know.
don't
But you're
care
asking me
about
that.
them. No, no, no. I don't care about them. Only first party. Sony's standalone. I didn't put an S there. Hold on. Let me put an S. My computer's fast enough. I could do it in real time. Sony's. Since you didn't get the memo,
um,
standalone multiplayer. How since they're going to they said they're going to invest more resources for multiplayer games.
yeah, but I don't think that was all just their first party though. You know what I'm saying?
Let's play devil's advocate and say that it is. We already have an inkling as to how they're doing it, and that inkling will be
I
Ghost
mean,
of Tsushima.
in all honesty,
It
man,
surprised me when they said Ghost of Tsushima is going to have a standalone $20 game, which is new. That fucking surprised me, low key. I was like, I didn't think they were going to do that.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say too at the same time, man, because when you think about it, um, you know, like Ghost of Tsushima was a surprise for everybody. You know what I'm saying? In terms of them adding multiplayer, but nobody expected it to happen. You know,
I
some of
did.
the so, for the most part, most people didn't expect it to happen. So a lot of the games that we're expecting to have multiplayer are games like The Last of Us Part Two. Games like well, at this point, Ghost of Tsushima. But really, outside of that, games maybe a game like what you call it, Gran Turismo 7, or something that maybe Media Molecule will do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So something like that. But I don't know. I mean, we don't. In my personal opinion, I don't really think we have enough information in terms of like what the studios are working on.
Well, let's pull it
Or
out of your ass.
I mean, if anything,
Let's play devil's advocate. And before we go on, it's the one, it's the only Umar. Welcome. I'm sorry for being late. The transition from laptop to laptop was a little rough. I needed a new stream key. The chat wasn't showing, and then once the stream is over, they claim that it won't pull up a chat anymore. So I don't know how that's gonna work. But anyway, Umar says I doubt God of War or Spider Man will have a standalone multiplayer game or just multiplayer again. I don't when I say standalone, I don't necessarily mean that it's something exclusively like isolated in its own quarantined thing.
you mean like
I
something that's
mean like
gonna
the
be
game is gonna you can break the game in half and then sell it. Just like Ghost of Tsushima. But what were you saying again? My bad.
No, actually, I was gonna pretty much say what Umar said that the only other games that we really know of right now, are games like Spider-Man, God of War, and some of the other ones, like Gran Turismo 7, which we know is gonna have its own multiplayer thing. But I don't really think that God of War is gonna have a multiplayer component. You know what I'm saying?
It had
Um,
before,
it did before.
and it
But
was
what was
pretty.
that? What
It
was
was
that?
pretty. It was pretty competent too. It's just that it fucked up the single player. With the resources that they used to make that happen.
And it was just one game too, wasn't it? I believe it was only. I think it was what Ascension
It was
that did
Ascension.
the multiplayer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, they didn't really fuck around with it too much. You
they
know what I'm
can
saying?
have. Well, what if they did this again? Right, you could play a hack and slash and be the gods. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with the game. That this in general would be like a full on standalone situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And in terms of Spider Man, it could be Spider Man could be co op. You know what I'm saying?
I
Miles
think if
Morales and Peter Parker.
yeah, I think if anything, the next game that might more than likely have a multiplayer component would be Spider-Man. You know, um, just because of
Or maybe you can fight like you can be like the enemy, like you could be Tombstone or whatever the case is.
But how would that work? What are you gonna be like tossed into like a arena?
Could be.
You
I
just-
don't fucking know. You use your imagination, nigga. Shit. That's what I'm saying. You seem like you're so like you're vehemently against this shit. Like you're like, no, I don't want it. I just want single player games, and I don't like any of this shit. You know,
I mean, I'm looking at it where I think it would make sense. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
fair enough.
And I don't think that, like say God of War, I feel like something like Spider-Man might make sense, because it seems like what they might do, especially being that they have that Miles Morales standalone, they might split the story up, you know what I'm saying? So it might give you the opportunity to play with both characters, you know what I'm saying? And it could be a good opportunity to throw in a multiplayer component if they wanted to do that, you know what I'm saying? So in that way, I think it might make sense. Um, Horizon, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But then again, what are you going to take control of another Aloy? You know what I'm saying?
No, you can be okay. So for Horizon, now you speaking my language. You know, fucking lamb's crest. Anyway, uh,
Lamb's Christ, the fucking God of War.
um, Disney needs to sell all PlayStation X-Men license. On God, I want another X-Men game. Yo, y'all remember that Wolverine game? That shit was actually the Batman from back then. And then that shit fell off. There was an actual Wolverine game that was damn good. Um, Either way, Horizon has different tribes. There's tribes that focuses on a bow. There's tribes that focuses on spear. There's tribes that focuses on like knives and shit like that. Um, Believe it or not, Umar, yo, don't be surprised if this shit came out. You know what I'm saying? If it comes out with co-op, you don't need to be Aloy. And I don't know how you don't see it working when you're hunting machines. You know,
What,
you
like
can
a
be,
character creation kind of thing?
you could be the Oseram. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody else can be, what's the other tribes again? The Nora, I guess, is dude. That's the only one I can really remember at the moment. You
Yeah,
know,
man, it's your game, man.
but like,
They
yeah,
have
like you can pick the different ones. Like the Nora is actually they cater to the bow, and I believe the Asaram they cater to like heavy weapons like hammers, and I believe the niggas with the fucking feathers they cater to spears. It was supposed to be a
swords.
co-op game. Yeah, it was. I don't know why people don't understand that. They forgot about that.
I mean, I could
Horizon
see,
Zero Dawn was supposed to be a it was supposed to be a fucking co-op game.
it working. Like if you could do you pick your clan kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And then you create your character, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then each clan has like its own perks and stuff like that. I guess kind of like what you're saying. Um,
Kind of like Ghosts, you know what I'm saying? But I think one of the reasons I'll say this in closing so we can move on to the next topic here. Um, what I believe is going to happen is again, these games are $70. That's number one. For people that don't want to play the single player game but want to try the multiplayer game, they can do it that way. Or Sony can pad PlayStation Plus with these standalone games after you know what I'm saying the sales start to simmer down. But you know, I think that we kind of exhausted this particular topic here. You want to hit us up with the next one?
yeah, yeah, we could. Let's do it, man. So, speaking of, just fucking because we were talking about Ghost of Tsushima earlier.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of people are saying that Ghost of Tsushima is a ripoff. Is a ripoff, because you have to pay for the upgrades and stuff like that, and what you get for what you pay for is just not indicative of the payment of the upgrade. You know what I'm saying? You don't get like a significant upgrade in graphics. The dual sense, as people say, is a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? And and it just kind of like it's like leading people to kind of say that whatever they're doing with Ghost of Tsushima is just a fucking ripoff. I mean, never mind the fact that they just gave you a whole DLC. You know what I'm saying? So forget
yeah,
that.
yeah, because that didn't work. You know
Yeah,
that they didn't give you a DLC where it was absolutely free. They never did that,
yeah.
or they didn't give you a patch to bump it up to 60 frames. That didn't happen either.
or they didn't give you a multiplayer at all. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? We don't
You
give a shit
know,
about that.
you know. Also, Ben Studios. Before you go in there, Ben Studios are actually working on another game that's like Days Gone, but with its mechanics and multiplayer. But continue. Just wanted to let you know they on it. They on it. They on it.
Ben Studio, you know what? Now that you mention it, Ben Studio might be a studio that could do something like that. To be honest,
They need more people.
if they get more people, yeah, like if they get like a stronger staff or more staff, yeah, I can definitely see that happening for sure. Um, but as far as this Ghost of Tsushima thing, man, I don't know, man. I don't really get the the hate behind it, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Um, if anything, the only thing I would really complain about is just the way that they rolled out the way that you actually upgrade your game. You know, because in terms of the actual upgrade for the game, like I know you and me, we both been playing it, and you could tell like a significant difference, you know, between like how the game plays and how it feels, you know, from the PS4 version to the PS5 version, you know.
Dual sense
So
related. The dual sense, and since Devil Shooter doesn't have a PS5 yet. Oh, you know what? On a side note, I have to. I have to address this bitch, Devil Shooter. Yeah, I said it.
getting a whole island, new gameplay mechanics and armor.
Yeah, I
Nigga, they
said.
gave you a whole island, new gameplay mechanics, and more armor. The fuck are you talking about?
No, no, no. He's playing on what we were doing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Man, you fucking dense bitch.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, nigga, like
No, I'm gonna address it. You wanna know what happened to me, Devil Shooter? My whole fucking PC was destroyed. Destroyed. I had to try to wipe the computer clean from its viruses. It was fucked up. And then when I finally did it, it must have corrupted some of the BIOS for the computer and just fucked. There was nothing I can do. This is why I don't fuck with computers. Just being online fucks it up. Streaming fucks it up. And right now, they say it's taking around 2% of my CPU power. So if I wanted to game on this computer, I had to buy a new one, by the way. A fucking grand. It's nowhere near as powerful as the PS5. But viruses and BIOS, and then if you do clear it out, there's some other things that's draining the resource. You got to do all this troubleshooting. It took me 2 fucking days to realize I need a new computer. There was no solution. I need a whole new computer. you
I
know,
mean, if you didn't get that shitty laptop,
no, this is the reality of computers. You know what I mean? Once you connect it online, it exposes it. It's like sticking your dick in a prostitute. It will fuck your shit up. That's what it is. This is why I don't want a game on there.
uh,
Shit
that's
like
like
that. But
it's like
that
sticking your dick in a prostitute with warts.
or having a package of a
Give it
fiery
a gift
a fiery package
a gift that you can't give back.
you can't give back, or I
Can't
guess
give
you
that
could.
shit
I
back.
guess you could give it back.
You
You
can
know,
give it to someone else. You can pass it on.
you can pass it on too. So it's an inside joke. Um, don't forget the Discord. Anyway, so I was restoring my work computer, but that's. I was sad when in the N60. I really what I was really sad. I know, man.
64 new.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a pain in the fucking ass to use a computer, man. I mean, yeah, why did you connect your laptop or computer to a hotel's Wi-Fi? Yeah, my bad. But it already had viruses on there. Like when I went to the hotel, I just activated it because it was an unverifiable thing. But I want to say this to give some context. This is why people you mentioned about Icky Island having all this shit, right? This is the context. This is why people say that they think it's a ripoff. There's no. Here's some reviews actually. I wish it was a remastered version, so at least there's a better graphics for it. Maybe even better artificial intelligence and less bugs. The director's cut doesn't worth to me rebuy. I guess this bitch is Spanish. I don't know. I know the syntax. I think his first language is Spanish. Icky Island is okay, but if you upgrade the game not at full price, I feel robbed or sucker punch. There is no perceivable graphic difference between the old and the new version. Icky Island is a very small DLC. Really, guys, nothing new to the game. To sell Ghost of Tsushima as a new game for $70 and bring things like lip sync, who nobody cares about, and almost no graphical achievements. Give me a break. The more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. Really, no focus on gameplay and a bigger territory. I paid $70 for an old game and Icky Island with no graphics. So the sentiment is that it doesn't have. Yeah, I heard the visuals haven't been improved much for the PS5 version. It See, we had this podcast maybe a month or two ago, about what makes a game next gen. And I'm going to tell you, and Ken could attest to this, you had to research haptic feedbacks to actually give that experience. That shit is unfucking real. Unreal. Unfucking real.
Yes.
It adds such a crazy nuanced, it immersed you in the game. You know what I'm saying? The direction of the wind can be felt through the controller. The type of terrain that your horse pitter patters on can be felt through the controller. The type of material you cut through when you're fighting could be felt through the controller. That shit is real as the coronavirus. That shit's fucking
Delta
crazy.
variant.
COVID, the Delta variant.
Delta. Yep. Delta bitch.
Delta bitch. So that's a next generation feature. Let me see. Once it goes to PC, $70 and review the same, we'll be really happy. Yeah, I know. People will be waiting for a $70 PC version. And the thing about it is, right? Spider-Man did not incorporate any new piece of New York. It is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and it didn't have multiplayer either anymore. So they had enough time to like slap on HD textures. Uh, and in terms of ray tracing, Digital Foundry had a video about what was that game called again? Hellblade. Hellblade.
Hellblade. Yeah.
And the only discernible feature that people hyped up was ray tracing. And guess what? The ray tracing only affected water, some water. But because ray tracing is a next generation feature, people thought it wasn't a ripoff. I guess it's free, maybe. That's what you were saying. I'm sorry, Ken. I had enough talk with this. Go on, please. I'm sorry.
Good, man. Just get it off your chest.
Get off my penis.
Pop the warts.
It's fucking terrible. It's fucking awful. All right, go on.
I mean, no, I agree with you, man. I mean,
BRB.
I personally think that the fucking DualSense is like probably arguably one of the most next generation features. Just in general. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I played both the I played the PS4 version before I jumped into the PS5 version. And the fucking DualSense just really makes a huge difference, man. In terms of how how the game feels. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that alone, you know what I'm saying, just adds a whole nother level of immersion to the game that is just, yeah, it wasn't possible on the PS4. You know what I'm saying? Given the new technology. So, I don't know. I mean, when people say that the game is a ripoff, man, I don't know. I mean, you could also think of it like this too, because if you're just now getting into Ghost of Tsushima, right? You're spending $70, right? You purchased the game for $60 when it came out on the PS4. That was with no multiplayer. That was with no multiplayer and no what you call it? Fucking what was that? The DLC. No DLC. So, if you think about it in terms of what you're getting for the money that you're paying for it, for people who are just coming into Ghost of Tsushima, they have a fucking a lot of shit to look forward to, basically. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Which brings
I
to
don't know.
the next issue. People think that the features have been locked away. The haptic feedback and the lip sync. Why do I gotta pay for the DLC? Thoughts on that?
That bitch.
Oh, you
Them
bitch!
Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fast traveling ghost is crazy. Yo, I was surprised at how fast it was, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. But I don't know if I know you probably didn't hear what I was saying, but I was saying that, for people, who are saying that Ghost of Tsushima is a ripoff, right? Um, for the people who were just now coming into Ghost of Tsushima, right, for the first time, um, back on the PS4, we had to pay $60 for it, right? 59.99, right? And that was with no multiplayer and with no expansion for the DLC. So if you really think about it, the $10 that you're paying to get the game now, you know what I'm saying, for people who pay the $70 for the game, you're paying for really the expansion. $10 difference for the expansion, and you get the fucking multiplayer for free.
My question is this: what about the people that say that you're locking it behind a paywall of DLC?
Locking what the enhancements?
Yes. Why not?
I mean,
Maybe I don't want to
are
play
you,
Iki Island.
are you talking about like just the like the 60 FPS updates and stuff like that, or just the dual sense in general?
DualSense, 3D sound, that shit.
Um, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because you could say, yeah, they're locking it behind a paywall, but at the same time, it's a new piece of technology. You know, trying to implement all of the features of the DualSense into the game. Coming from the perspective, right, that the DualSense is arguably one of the most next generation features that we have right now, just in general. You know, I know it can't be easy to implement that shit into the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think it's just a matter of perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because you could say, "Oh yeah, they're locking it behind a paywall," but then at the same time, you could say, "Well, you know, um, what they did to the game was worth the upgrade for the game." You know what I'm saying? On top of what you get as far as the DLC and the standalone multiplayer as well, which wasn't with the game at launch.
It's just crazy. It feels like every time Sony does something, like it is negatively and like it looks bad and it's annoying. You know, you sit there and complain about you complain about Sony not. I don't know. Like, are you expecting shit to be free? Like, I don't get it. And this is not coming from a fanboy sense. Like, it should be expected that it costs money. I don't know what they were looking for.
I agree.
I don't get
You
it.
know, See, it's not just like a resolution bump or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We got that for free. The 60 FPS patch, and whatnot, right? All that shit came free. The shit that didn't come free was the next gen shit. You know what I'm saying?
And there's some new
All
there's some new mechanics within. Well, I guess we can't even talk about it because people apparently don't give a fuck about Icky Island. They wanted, instead of having new content, all they wanted was the dual sense and ray tracing. That's all they wanted, apparently. Like, could you imagine how ridiculous it would have been to add ray tracing to the ocean? Like, how often are you near the ocean? Because what else would you add it on to? The swords? Do you even fucking care? You know? I don't see my reflection in the shield. Like, come on, like, people are fucking ridiculous, man. I don't like it. Makes you feel like they're not clearly they're trolls. They're
yeah,
they're trolls. It's clear that they're trolls. You don't even have a PS5. How about that?
and or upset at the success of the game.
Hence the
Yeah,
reason why I got review bombs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. like when the game first came out, man, I think the user score was higher than the fucking Metacritic score. I think it was what, like 90 93 or something like that. It was pretty high. So the people who played the game loved the game, and the director's cut version of Ghost is better than that one. Extra content and all of that stuff, right? The DualSense. Um, so obviously the people who who are complaining about this shit, it, it's probably not like a real fan of the game.
They're not real fans of anything
Yeah,
of PlayStation. Tastes. It's clear to me. I mean, think about it. If we're going to look at another platform such as what is it? Gears of War. What did they offer? And it was it free?
it was free with Game Pass.
What if if you didn't get Game Pass, was it free or was it not free?
Uh, why, you mean for the DLC? I don't think so.
Okay.
Nah,
Okay. So, how do you know how much it was by any chance?
nah, man, I didn't buy. I didn't buy that shit.
And what did the DLC offer? Was it just DLC or did it bump everything up texture wise and
It was the
whatnot?
same shit, man. It was literally the same shit. It was just um
Let me
more
take a look
content.
here. But did it bump up the original content as well?
No, they just added extra content, the DLC,
What
and it
I'm
was only
saying is
like,
that did it go to the original game and change it?
no, that was the same shit, bro. Same exact game. It was the
So the
same
same
thing.
exact game. Let me take a look. What was it called again? High Busters,
Like
Gears
Busters.
of War.
They didn't add any extra content into the base game.
Let me see here. Enhancement. Enhance. I'm spelling shit all wrong today. I put. I don't know what the
Umar
fuck.
said Umar said it was an 83. Ghost of Tsushima was an 83 before, and now the director's cut is an 88. Honestly, man, I'm kind of glad that the game got re-reviewed. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the 88 is a little bit more indicative of what the game was Metacritic wise. Um Actually, to be honest with you, man, I think it deserved more than that. I think it should have been higher than that. That's just my personal opinion though.
I think it. I. Mm. So you say it was $20, basically. Let's see, graphic.
Oh, for Hype Busters.
Yeah, I want to prove a point here because Digital Foundry actually kind of like threw salt at this and said that the game wasn't really impressive.
Yeah, they did review bomb it, man. It's fucking crazy. What? And it was drastic too, man. It went from like a 93 for the base game to like a 2.7. That's review bomb territory, man. They definitely did that shit on purpose. That's some salty ass motherfucker. That's what it is.
So it's $20, like you just said. They have enhanced the game before the DLC actually was released. So what you're paying for is literally the DLC. Okay. Um,
I'm telling you, man, there wasn't really any changes to the actual game itself. Sucker Punch or Curse, no matter how good their games are, they just never get 90 or above.
it's because it's rough around the edges. There's some things that are rough.
I mean, I think the whole Metacritic system is flawed anyway, but um
Okay, here we
I
go. I got it. I got it. I'm not going to mention quick resume or variable refresh rates. They added variable rate shading that incorporate to help out the frame rate. They said that they bumped it to 4K resolution and then added 4K textures. They've added screen space global illumination and context shadows. So
Basically nothing.
no, it bumped up to 4K. It bumped the frame rate up to either 60 or 120 frames a second, and then it added better lighting. But the lighting doesn't matter because it's not a dynamic time of day change. And by the way, there's some global illumination in Ghost of Tsushima. It was on the PS4 version. They just did it in a roundabout way. So the way I look at it is this, right? Sorry, Sucker Punch, right? Naughty Dog has never had a yellow did they? No, I
I
don't
don't
think
think so.
it was probably in the '90s if they did.
Probably way back in the day, man. Way back in the day.
But you know what? Naughty Dog was always smart. They kept their shit. They kept their scale very, 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 very small. At the end of the day, the thing that they focused on was graphics, and then made the gameplay simplistic, like easy to get into. You know what I'm saying? Their objective for Crash was to be a very easy platform to understand what it was, but be very hard to execute in terms of like you making it um make jumping over the platform and stuff like that. And then you had the Jack and Dexter. Oh, you know what? It did have a yellow one. It was Jack X.
Jack X probably.
It did. All right, so they did Jack and Dexter. They had the graphics. It was probably the most ambitious game that they ever made.
What
Because
Jack X?
the Jack series, they were able to do large scale gameplay,
Not the last
and
of part two.
no, you're not going to bait me into this, man. You know that's right. You're not going to bait me into it. It was the most ambitious game because technology wise, they oh, is 76 still green?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yep.
It's all about polish. I guarantee you, if Ghost of Tsushima had a tighter story, where where you weren't doing like side missions and things like that, and it just was from here to here, you know what I'm saying? And the gameplay was basically like you move from A to B. And then if it had ragdoll physics, the game would have gotten like a 90. I'm pretty sure of it. That's all you needed.
Like the last of us part two.
That's what the Last of Us Part Two actually had all of those things. You're right. It had ragdoll physics. It had good animation. It went
You know
from
what
A
else
to
it had?
B. It had all the politics you could possibly stuff.
It had that goatee
What's Goldie?
and that goatee
What's that?
game of the year.
Oh, it did have that.
And it had over 250 awards.
Yeah, they had some really cool awards, such as like
Accessibility.
accessibility. How many LGBT characters you can have within a game? I think
Very inclusive.
I think that they needed to definitely have those particular awards. So sure, sure. Why not, Ken? Why not? Not this time. He put LOL. um, but I think that's what it is. Ragdoll physics and the storyline was a little bit too open ended. Even Grand Theft Auto, every character you played had an A and B storyline. You couldn't deviate from it. If you wanted to deviate the type of gameplay, then you would just move on to the different character. But you still had little beats to make you go from A to B or A to Z in this case. Ghost of Tsushima was just like you could do anything you kind of wanted to do, and there was no urgency or whatever the case is.
Devil Shooter said, "Good, Josh."
So I'm trying to change over. I'm trying to change over a new leaf. Um, if you look at um what happens in Ghost of Tsushima, you could be doing a main mission, and you just sitting there, do help. What is
Help! Help!
it? what is it? Uh, they took my daughter. And you're like, okay, so you find a daughter, and then as you're going to the direction, help! What is it? I lost my fish. Can you find it? Do you want to cancel this mission for this? It's stuff like that where that could be perceived as not having like polish. You know what I'm saying? And disturbing the flow of the game. But I think in terms of gameplay, they fucking nailed it, nailed the hell out of that.
They did.
But
Yo, actually, I was playing it earlier today, man. Um, before I jumped into the show, man, and I was like, God damn! Like the gameplay for this game is incredible, man. I had forgotten how good the game was because the last time I played it, like really played it, was when I beat it last year after I got the platinum trophy. So it was a nice like surprise, I guess you could say.
it was
It was
hard to
fun to
get
get
back
back to it.
into, though. I ain't gonna lie, but you know, I had to learn that whole thing, and they were kind of. I'm on the hardest difficulty, so you know,
Wait,
there's that.
lethal or lethal plus?
Lethal plus. I don't do anything else but
Yo,
hardest
them was
difficulties.
fucking me up, man.
Them yellow niggas, yo. Fuck them bitches. I will say this as a closing comment here, right? Um, how's that lock on? Man, I turned that shit off because it doesn't really help. The lock on feature, it doesn't help. I mean, people were crying about that shit. What's the lock on? Keep it pure.
Said
You
it
know,
before, man. I don't think the lock on feature would work with the style of gameplay that it is.
it really doesn't. It doesn't really work that well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it kind of guides you into the direction, but I'm so used to the original game. I never needed it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know,
Yeah,
just never needed it. You kind of
and it
run
doesn't
the
work anyway.
what the lock on feature?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah,
it
you.
doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
Like it works, but it the way the flow of the gameplay is, like you're always getting surrounded by enemies. You know what I'm
That's why they
saying?
didn't fucking put it in there in the first place. And then you get this raggedy ass digital foundry with the dude look like a fucking piglet. Oh well, I actually played the game, and I would have loved it because the dude's voice squeaks even though he's like 47, like for some reason, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. You just as fucked up as I am. I'm just not afraid of saying it. But yeah, basically, here's what he looked like. So he goes ahead. He's like, I couldn't enjoy the game because the lock on features was. I just wanted a lock on feature that I could control. And now that they
That's what it is.
added, huh?
They just want something to cry about. That's all it is.
Now that they added it on there, I can. It's much more enjoyable. Shut the fuck up, man. Dumb bitch. Fucking annoying. Anyway, so Lamb, Lamb's Crest.
Fucking God of War.
But that's
Yeah,
all in all, like no, it's not a ripoff. You know what I'm saying? If you really felt so strongly about it, Sucker Punch gave you a fucking free game. I mean, a free upgrades and free multiplayer. How can you get
across the
mad at
board.
that? How can you get mad at that? In terms of the graphical features, in terms of the fucking graphical features that people complain about, right? In terms of those fucking shits, did you just want to throw in like Devil Shooter said this shit too? Did you want to throw in fucking ray tracing and it barely be noticed? Like a game like Spider Man, you kind of it's cool to have ray tracing with with glass in the buildings and shit like that. It's cool to have that in there. You know what I'm saying? But for a game like that's fucking wilderness and shit like that, it doesn't make any difference. As a matter of fact, don't you play Ratchet and Clank without ray tracing, kid?
Yeah, I never played it with the ray tracing on, man.
You know what I'm saying? So all of that just so you can see your reflection in a fucking fishbowl, like you know what I'm saying? Make it make sense.
That
They just
slideshow gameplay was killing me, man.
it really does feel shit. I don't know what it is. There's some input latency when you play the Ratchet and Clank. That kind of
The
it gets
the frames.
nullified. Yeah, it gets nullified when you turn on the performance mode and you don't have the ray tracing on there. And that's fine, whatever. I played the whole game with the ray tracing to see how I like it. There's certain surfaces that look pretty cool. Well, other than that, the texture work and everything else that they have in there more than makes up for it anyway. If you turned it off, that's A. B. Make it make sense. Like I said before, um, a game that has dynamic light and or day and night cycles that is not in a natural environment, stuff that is metallic and glass, yeah, it works. It works for Ratchet and Clank because there's a lot of metallic surfaces and glass. It works perfectly fine with those, you know. But the game has fucking dirt and leaves. Where are you going to put the reflections? You know what I'm saying? Where is that going to go? And they already have some sort of,
Eyes,
huh? The
Jen's
eyeballs.
his eyes,
They
his
already
ass.
his ass after he comes out glistening out of the fucking hot springs. I'm like,
Look at
oh,
that ray tracing.
look, I can see my whole, I can see the cameraman and his ass cheeks. Like they're so fucking.
Yeah. I can see the whole round part of the top of his ass cheeks.
And you can see if you have ray tracing, if he's naked, you can look at his eyes and you can see his penis. That's crazy. They already have global illumination. Their solution of global illumination, which is the bouncing of light. That's like if you take a white piece of paper and on a sunny day, and you take a tennis ball, you lay it onto the white piece of paper, you're going to see the light rays bounce off of the tennis ball and onto the white piece of paper. Is going to bleed the green on the paper. That's what radiosity is, or global illumination. But they already have their solution for that, so you wouldn't notice too much of a difference. Just like in Hellblade, you didn't notice a fucking difference like that. You didn't. So no, it's not a fucking ripoff because ultimately they already gave you two things that more than enough made up for the game. They gave you a free fucking 60 frames per second patch, and they gave you free multiplayer. Like how?
Free
What else?
fucking multiplayer.
The fuck else do you want?
And they gave
A
you
lamb's
DLC with it.
crest? That's what you want?
Fucking God of War. I
So,
think that's so funny, man.
but yeah. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about that, man.
No,
Um, I
I think
know that I mean, I know I talked a lot, and I really apologize. So check me if I'm talking too much.
nah,
Uh,
man, you're good, man.
did
You're
you want to do the last topic here?
no, go ahead, man. I have transitioned into this one. Go ahead.
All right. Speaking of graphics, right? Um, what is it with fucking people that are really praising their piece of plastic? This is the last topic, by the way, guys. We do 3 topics, 30 minutes apiece. I just wanted to kind of get that out there.
Them graphics.
The people on the internet are praising their box, plastic box of choice. And I don't want to sound like a neutral, but when your game is fucking 2 frames better, uh, in certain situations, does it fucking matter? Does it matter? Digital Foundry just came out with a video about um 4K.
Which game?
What do you call it? Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Tomb Raider. I was looking at that shit online. I'm like, and people were complaining about like some of the minor differences in the textures and stuff like that for the PS5 version, and then the like minor drops with the frame rate in certain areas. Which they even said that in terms of performance, the PS5 was the superior version to play the game on. You know what I'm saying? So
The funny thing is, they could have easily made the PS5 version 4K. They didn't though because of the SKU, the dev kit, and they wanted better frame rate. They made it checkerboard rendering. You know what I mean? Which is going to have a slightly softer image, but the frame difference was about what 10, 15 frames higher on a PS5. Now, if you have to fucking zoom in 400 fucking times to notice a difference, does it really fucking matter?
no,
You wouldn't even notice the fucking difference if it wasn't for Digital Foundry or the other channels either. I just don't understand. My question is, what is up with the fucking graphic obsession nowadays? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I could see if your game was 720p, right, on one box and 1080p on the other. There's a clear fucking difference. Or on a one box is 30 frames and on the other box is 60. There's a clear fucking difference. Or you can only maintain 45 frames a second on one box, but 60 on another box. There's a clear fucking difference. But if you're talking about 2 frames, If you're talking about 5% of the resolution, if you talk about every now and again, this area may cause an issue. You know, like when you pull up your fucking sniper rifle in the middle of grass, i.e., fucking Hitman 3, and you feel like that's a fucking issue. You know what I'm saying? Um, no,
I don't know what
no.
to fucking tell you.
We say
I said I don't know what to fucking tell you.
because it's clearly motivated by tribalism and fanboy talk.
That's all it is, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the people who the people who actually play the games, man, they don't care about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Most people are not going to notice the difference. You know what I'm saying? Between like a small resolution difference. You know what I'm saying? Like I could understand if the game was dropping like 15 frames or something like that. You know, like that's noticeable. You know what I'm saying? But the games run pretty much identical on both consoles. You know, so for all of the people who are out there like trying to make it, you know, like try to make these like micro comparisons and stuff like that, it's stupid. Like to me, it's just wasted time. You know, it wasted energy. It's just fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying?
it is
And
full
then
on retarded. It's retarded. I just want to say this really, really quickly. You know what? It's so stupid. Devil Shooter. See, the thing that's big about this, man,
I'll
is
be right
that
back.
the huh?
I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Okay. The thing that's different about this is that the 15 frames a second is actually in a cutscene. It doesn't matter at that point. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get a little, a little judder, a little bit. That's a problem. That's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? And that's my issue. You have the right to want better, and no one's saying not. You know what I mean? But it's so splitting hairs at this point in time. Like, does it really fucking matter? You know what I mean? My whole thing is this: like, I don't mind having resolution. You know what I mean? It's up to your preference. You know, in terms of like what you were saying, Devil Shooter. But at the same time, if your frame rate is dropping during a cutscene, doesn't really fucking matter. Um, oh yeah, it doesn't matter in cutscenes. It doesn't matter in cutscenes. You knew about that, right, Ken?
What?
The frame kind of tanked a little bit on the Series X
Yeah,
during
it
the
did.
cutscene.
Yeah, and I believe it tanked in some of the stressful areas of the gameplay as well.
But I
Yeah.
will say it's 4K though. You know what I mean? They chose to use 4K instead of some sort of checkerboard rendering, but we already knew PlayStation 4 and Pro are really good at checkerboard rendering, which is why they have it. So, if you have the option, why not use it?
Yeah, I mean personally, and I've said this before, you know, I don't really think that, you know, this whole like native 4K thing is I don't know, man. I feel like it's a buzzword at this point, you know, because there's a better technology now, you know what I'm saying, to do you know, the scaling for the games now. Whether it's through DLSS or super some kind of super sampling, fucking temporal injection or whatever the case is, right? FRS is just at this point, man. I feel like you know people who are trying to say that a game that isn't native 4K is just that gets inferior in some way is just stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's really not. It's more so about the image quality, you know,
Right.
as opposed to just the pure fact of what the resolution is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what kills me, man. Because you know you could have you know like say a cool piece of technology like the PS5, right, where they're taking advantage of these features and stuff like that, right? Um, and they have their games running, dude. Almost every one of their games that they have had dynamic 4K 60 with ray tracing.
So, Xbox, right?
No, PlayStation. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Yeah,
because
like
what I mean. When you get into the thick of things, you sweeping your camera around. Nobody's fucking counting pixels. No one's doing that. No
no one
one's
cares.
fucking doing that. No one fucking cares. Like if your game was all the times, like if it was between Series X and Series S, that type of fucking delta gap, yeah,
That's a big
that's
difference.
a big fucking difference.
That's a big difference.
You talking about like fucking, I don't know,
900p to 1880 or something like that.
you know, fucking 700, 720, 1720p to fucking 1800p. Like nobody gives a fuck.
That's crazy.
Unless you're a fucking, you know what, on a different topic, you know what, let me hold on, let me get my fucking drink here. Hold the fuck up.
Let me get my drink real quick. I'm about to go in on these motherfuckers. Oh man. He needs some milk.
You got me all the fuck the way fucked up with this.
He needs some milk.
He needs some milk. I was just drinking it. That's why my voice is raspy now, because I'm eating desserts right before bed, and that shit fucks up your vocal cords.
Being a whole fat bitch.
I'll show you fat. I'll show you my belly on camera. I know y'all want to see it, don't you? Don't you wish your belly was hot like mine? Let me stop playing. Ray tracing. That was a big thing. Um, Ray tracing. Ken, do you feel like that's a game changer? Like Digital Foundry states, ray tracing.
No, I don't
Why
think
not?
so.
Why not?
Because I don't think most people are gonna care about it. To be honest with you,
Why not? Because I want to see my reflection in the mirror.
I don't think it will be, man. I don't think it's like a drastic change from like say um I don't know, like 30 FPS to 60 FPS or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me was like a massive jump in terms of like gameplay, performance and things like that. Obviously graphics and stuff. But no, I personally I don't really think ray tracing is going to be like the like a huge changer.
People don't understand that the effects for ray tracing can be emulated not well, but good enough with screen space reflections, right? It can also be emulated with global illumination light probes. These are invisible grids of lights that they don't show you. Is only on the development side. That if you shine a light, it's going to carry. If you can think of a matrix of balls, it's going to carry the light from that source. It's going to take the color from that light, and then it's going to spread it throughout the grid, which is going to give a simulation of bounced lighting. Right. That's what that is. That's how they used to do it. Now with ray tracing, the system does it automatically. And with the engine that they have for Unreal 5, it's an interesting case because they don't even use the system to spit out the polygons. They use their own formula. So it bypasses what the system can do,
What was
which
the lighting effect that they used for Demon Souls?
the regular lighting effect.
Yeah, because I know that they said that the game had like dynamic lighting, but I'm not sure. Like I don't know. Did you know anything else about that?
No, the dynamic lighting it was the shadows and stuff like that. None of it was ray traced. Basically, it's the same effect that they had before, but brute forced. Now you can add a whole bunch of light lights. You know what I'm saying? Where you couldn't have done that in the previous generation. The thing that
I think the
really,
reason why I brought,
yeah, go on.
no, I was just saying I think the reason why I brought it up was just to kind of like add on to what you were saying. You know what I'm saying? The game wasn't ray traced, but um
It's gorgeous nonetheless.
yeah, I mean you wouldn't you wouldn't you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody didn't tell you, you know what I'm saying, you probably wouldn't even know.
If they weren't truthful about it, they the average person wouldn't even fucking know. Wouldn't even fucking know. You know what I'm saying? They was going to say, and then there's various levels of ray tracing, i.e., ray trace, because you can't have it all with these systems. You know what I'm saying? But if they do make a PS5 Pro, you may be able to turn on all these features at once. I believe. And I think it's coming, but that's another topic for another day.
Oh, that's gonna be a powerhouse, baby.
It's gonna be hot as hell. Like I know when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, my PS5 got hot as fuck. It was still quiet, but it was fucking hot. But then my room is fucking Africa right now anyway. What is it right now? It's about 84 degrees in my room. 82. And I like it that way. So anyway,
like it hot.
I didn't like it. Shadows, ray trace shadows. You can basically in our world, the bounce light creates the image that we see. All of it is a side effect of the image that we see. Or the image that we see is a side effect of the bounce lighting. You know what I'm saying? In the video game world, you have to take each technique and split it up. There's a technique for shadows. There's a technique for the global illumination, the light bounce and light bleed. There's a specific situation for reflections. And like you said before, Umar, you can use ray tracing to trace sound waves as well. That's another thing too. With Ghost of Tsushima, they actually used sound effects. I mean, I'm sorry, they used they have better sound effects for the 3D audio, and I believe they're probably using that on some of the ray tracing and stuff like that. Wonder what a PS5 Pro will be able to do that normal. What do you say?
I was just reading Umar's comment. Wonder what a PS5 Pro would be able than a normal PS5 wouldn't be.
We've had this discussion too. See, this is the thing. We already fucking knocked this shit out the park. More is the answer. At once. Maybe have ray tracing at 60 frames a second at 4K than 30. The answer is always more.
More, baby, more.
In terms of 8K, maybe they have some sort of reconstruction technique like they did with the Pro or PS4 Pro that allows for like a reconstructed 8K. But more, you're not going to get you're not going to get better. Because again, it violates, making your video games, basically. Who that in there?
Who that? Baby?
Oh, Fatal. What's going on, Fatal?
Yo, what's good, Fatal?
Hey, just popping in to say hi.
Yo, Fatal. What you guys say about these graphics? This obsession with graphics.
Oh, you already know how.
Obsession with graphics. Really want to ask me that question?
Obsession.
Really want to ask me that question?
I do. I do.
Hit him, bro.
Hit him. How the fuck these games look?
No, but why do you think people are obsessed with a pixel more or a frame more on the other consoles?
I guess I can put it to you from this perspective. When you play games, right, especially from a top-notch studio, like, say, Naughty Dog or something like that, right, or Guerrilla Studios or whoever the fuck it may be, when you see graphical fidelity that comes out from those quality of those said games, it leaves an impression in people's minds. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there that are so hell-bent on games looking like that going forward. Those are the types of games that they want gamers to be fucking looking at. You know what I mean? Like, they want the developers to say, hey, you know what? This set the bar this high, come either compare it with it or overcome it. But if not, you're going to always be below it. You know what I mean? And I never really quite understood when people obsess over that, at least from my perspective, because it doesn't make any sense. Because when I grew up, fucking graphics wasn't fucking what gaming was about at all, period. It was there for you to look at, and you had to figure out what the fuck shit was. Now that we have this graphical fucking overhaul that we've had over the last couple of generations now, that really put front and center everything that you visualize. You can see what it is, you know what it is. Okay, that's cool. That's a baseball, that's dirt, that's a gun, that's an ammo clip, that's a shell, whatever it is, right? A lot of people feel that if a game looks ultra realistic or close to pushing that boundary, that's the standard. That's what everybody should be looking at, and that's why I think a lot of people are graphically over obsessed with that crap. As far, at least from the way I've looked at it from over the years that I've been seeing, the way people react in action with graphical fucking shit like that.
What do you think about like these little like fanboy wars between like little texture differences and like small frame rate drops here and there?
To be fair, I mean, I think all of us at one point in time, like we had our moments, whether it be from how we did it back then, of being a Sega or Nintendo junkie, which bits were better. People remember the Bit War shit. But at the end of the day, I think when you see those little small people like going after, like, say, Spider-Man for fucking, what was their water shit? What was that crap again?
The puddle
That
gate.
happened there.
Puddlegate, that's what
bullshit.
it was, yeah.
That to me is where you're going way too far into what makes, and you're not looking at what makes Spider-Man good. You're nitpicking stupid shit.
Stupid
You know
as
what I
fuck
mean?
shit.
Because let's be fair, when you're playing Spider-Man, you're not going to be paying attention to fucking puddles on the floor.
You know what, man? You bring up an interesting point. You said people don't focus on the things that make that game actually good.
And this is coming from me, who recently got around to playing Miles Morales on PS4, and I was blown away on how good that fucking game was. Now, I haven't played 2018 Spider-Man, even though I was going to, but my friend who I'm game sharing with, whatever the case may be, he has the PS5 upgraded version of that, so it won't let me down off his account. So I was only able to play Miles Morales. And I can tell you one thing right now, yeah, the detail that that Insomniac did for this game is incredible and very high detail and whatever the case may be, but 90% of that shit, I wasn't even paying attention to any of that because I was too busy in the actual game using Spider-Man or Miles' fucking abilities and shit like that and kicking ass as fucking Spider-Man. Not worrying about puddles, not worrying about, oh, hey, this texture looks weird on this garden hose, man. 5 out of 10. Really? Like, even with the next gen debacle thing, Josh, right? Like, Thrash brought this up too as well because he definitely thinks that no games on Xbox don't have any next gen values, right? I can get that point. You know what I'm saying? But he's looking at it from the aspect of what Sony has done and what they have produced. You know what I mean? But you got to remember too, a generation is not 100% defined based on how games look. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because the Switch wouldn't be a thing.
Exactly. Nintendo is a prime example that it proves to people that graphics don't mean fucking nothing. Not at all. Yeah, you can have good-looking games and you can give credit to where credit's due. But if you spend most of your time and you're focusing on that alone over the gameplay aspect or how the game fucking plays, my guy, you're doing it wrong.
I mean, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was, one of the best Zelda games ever created. So it makes sense.
Breath of my ass. So
right, there you go, and that's a shell shaded game.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, Fatal.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Ghost of Tsushima. Obviously, there's a PS5 version.
Correct.
What is your take?
That's one of the games I actually have downloaded on my PS4 that I'm going to be getting back to here shortly.
What could they add in that game to make it the full fat next generation?
It's kind of difficult for me to really answer that because I haven't fully experienced Ghost as far as getting the full breakdown of what they should and shouldn't add. I mean, outside from the stuff that's been confirmed.
I mean, but no, because I already know what they added. But you are a gamer.
Yes.
What do you think they should add that will make it into the next? You already know what ray tracing is. We already know. We had this conversation. So,
I think ray tracing is a useless fucking feature.
What would you say? What would you say? What would you say?
I'm not going to say it's a useless feature. I'm just going to say that it's definitely a feature that developers have been faking for a long time before fucking it became a hardware thing, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody even noticed that it was even there. Now that it's in the media spotlight, it's a buzzword for these next-gen consoles. Now everybody gives a shit about it, which I laugh at that because that doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? But go on. Sorry, my bad. I just wanted to clarify that.
You played Ghost of Tsushima, correct?
I only played an hour and a half of it, so I haven't really been playing it at all. But that's why I said I don't really want to comment on what they should add because I haven't got to experience the game in full yet. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and tell you they should definitely add this and this and that when I'm playing the last gen version of the game, not the version that you guys are getting now.
Do you think that Ghost of Tsushima was a ripoff?
Hell no. Hell no.
No, I mean the Icky Island and the features.
No, yeah.
Okay, so how much is just okay? If you own the game, how much is that DLC? Just that DLC alone, and whatever the case may be.
It's not sold separately. It's not sold separately.
Okay, so it's like a $30 upgrade, right?
When you upgrade, it's $20 for the PS4 version and $30 for the PS5.
PS5 version, yeah.
Okay. And then if you don't want the DLC, you want the actual additional features. DualSense, we're going to call it what, $10?
No, it does. There's no cost to it. You don't get it at all.
What?
Yeah.
I thought there was like a $10. Hold on.
I like this.
I remember hearing that there was like a $10 freaking upgrade thing if you just wanted like the actual PS5 features.
No.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
That is
So
very.
Do I see it as a ripoff in general though, with like having to spend $30 for an upgraded like PS5 version of it just to get the DLC? No. Like, why would anybody sit there and say it's a ripoff?
Because it's
$10 cheaper on PS4. Yeah, but you're not getting all the features the PS5 version's getting though.
So that's
the difference between that two.
So that's another argument there. People think that the features. Wait, hold on. Wait. People think that the features are locked behind the DLC. Your thoughts on that?
Locked behind the paywall? Okay, I guess I can kind of see why people would use that as like their cop-out answer. But to be fair, though, I mean, not necessarily, because like that $30 is technically what that DLC is worth. So I mean, if it's $20 on PS4 and you're not getting any of those fucking features, what the hell is a $10 difference actually doing that?
Like, how much would they really want to? Like, how much? Okay, so if it wasn't going to be free, what are you going to charge? Like $2 for lip sync and vibration? Is that what you're going to do?
I'm saying like as far as like maybe like a $10 or $5 thing if they wanted to, or better yet, the free next gen upgrade. Fuck it, call it a day.
Yeah, see, we were talking about this earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I see. I don't know how you feel about it personally, but I believe that the DualSense, and I think Josh as well. You know, we kind of have the same perspective that we think that the DualSense is probably one of the most next generation features that we have for next generation, just in general. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so just the fact that they added that into the game, you know, on top of, you know, all of the DLC and, you know, and on top of that, they gave you the multiplayer for free.
Yeah. Which was actually a nice little shadow drop too, as well, because nobody saw that fucking shit coming, man.
No, nobody did.
Well, here's the thing: when you play, well, here's the thing:
Josh did apparently.
What?
You saw the little shadow drop.
The multiplayer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was when I was playing the game, I was like, this feels. There's a lot going on here. This doesn't feel like it was thrown together, and I'm like, it could transition easily to multiplayer. But here's the thing: before we close out, when you play Ghost for an hour, right?
Right.
What could you see that needed to be added to make it a true next generation experience?
A true? Well, then I'm not definitely going to say lock on, because that would have been nice, even though I know
which one?
Now.
Which one?
Lock on your target.
Okay, no. Graphically, they have the lock on feature,
really
but graphically,
feature though. That's not a next gen feature. And to be fair, it's not 100% really needed. I get why people were crying about it, because I can see it myself. But eventually, you get used to that combat. You're kind of glad that it doesn't have a lock on system, because like you're flowing between other characters simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like, because
I don't think
honestly,
it works.
Like, yeah, if you look at like the way Assassin's Creed, I'm not trying to compare Ghost to Assassin's Creed, even though I know a lot of people did, and I ridicule them for that. Fucking stupid. But the thing of it is, like take that combat or take Arkham Asylum's combat, right? There's no lock on shit outside from throwing your fucking boomerang and like maybe a couple other gadgets. But when you're fighting and stuff like that, you just go back and forth between the motions of it and shit. You know what I mean? Ghost does it, but does it in a way where it feels like it's got a really, really nice, consistent flow to it, man. And maybe it's going to be better now, too, as well, because they've added new animations and shit. So,
graphic-wise, what would you say?
Graphic-wise, I think the game looks good for what fucking Sucker Punch can definitely get fucking out of it, man. Like, yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Is there anything? Is there anything lacking graphically?
Graphically-wise? I mean, sure. If you want to throw in ray tracing as a next gen thing, where people
where would they put the ray tracing?
Fuck no, I don't even know what the fuck ray tracing is
100%. If you want to see, okay, so reflections.
Well, lighting and reflections. Isn't that what it is? Like lighting bouncing off shit. You see like reflections.
That's one of the things, but they already have a solution for it. You know what I mean? Their own internal solution. So their big buzzword right now. What were you gonna say?
Oh, me nothing. No, sorry, my mic just keeps whatever you want to call my bad.
Nah, I was gonna say I would love to see that water glistening off of Jin's ass.
This nigga.
Bro.
I'm not doing this. I'm not. So the thing is, the only thing that they can honestly do is reflections. Fado only has a PS4 version, right? Yeah, he does. Realistic lighting.
Yeah, that's the only version I'm playing. Correct. Yes, I want to make that clear because I don't want people to be confused by which version I'm playing.
The thing.
Yeah, PS5, man.
I know, I do. But
pause. So the thing is, right? This is the big thing. When I popped, and you said this shit too, when you were streaming on the PlayStation Culture channel, you were like, damn, I forgot how good this fucking game looks. Every time, if you don't see the game for a long time,
it looks fucking gorgeous.
It's like you don't beat your meat for a week and you decide to do that shit. You're like, wow, I remember why I do this shit. Pause.
That's an analogy, but I can concur.
He said I concur. No, but like when you first see the game, honestly, like all jokes aside, when you first see the game from a hiatus, it's like, what the fuck? It is arresting, to say the least. What can you add in there? I was looking at that. What was that monk game again?
I would say that Ghost of Tsushima cured my erectile dysfunction.
Really?
I would say so.
This nigga, don't listen to him. Pay him no, never mind.
Hey man, I'm rooting for you, kid. I'm rooting for you, buddy.
No, don't
Yo,
pay him.
That game had me from 6 to midnight.
Hey, listen. Here's how I look at it at the end of the day. Dude,
you have a broken penis, by the way. If it goes up to fucking mid, why is it like that? No, don't answer that. Go on, please.
Like there's like even going back to God of War 2018, Josh, man. Like there's moments where when I was playing that bitch, man, I was like, bro, like how the fuck is the PS4 doing this? Like it's insane to me. Like when you're sitting there with Atreyu and fucking like yourself, and you see that the giant water serpent come out and shit, and just starts chilling and talking with you, or whatever the case may be. You find out that your fucking son can actually fucking decipher what the fuck you're saying. Like, bro, like that shit was fucking like amazing shit. If you were to see something like that on the Xbox side, you literally get a fucking slideshow.
But not even mention about the Xbox thing. Just in general, like graphics can be interpreted in many different ways.
Oh,
but for Digital Foundry to go out of their way to say that it wasn't impressive, if they added ray tracing for the fucking beach, right?
Wow.
What would it add? You're not always at the beach. You're mostly in grass. Where's the reflections going to go? Grass plays.
But I can tell you one thing right now, that can definitely cure your problem. Stop watching digital faggotry, bro. That's your problem.
You got to remember, man, these are the same people who said that the animations for Ghost of Tsushima were not impressive, but Cyberpunk's were due to ragdoll physics.
No, I can call 100% bullshit on that because when I was playing that shit, dude, man, like everything felt fucking amazing. Everything felt good.
It's really boils down to
time where I felt like clunkiness or where I felt like I was not in control of fucking the character at all. You know what I mean?
What it boils down to is that the game looks gorgeous.
It does,
and you don't need ray tracing, and it doesn't have to be 10. It doesn't have to be 4K either because it was checkerboard 1800p. You know what I'm saying? And no, it wasn't the cleanest game, but damn them graphics. You look like, what the fuck?
I'll say it to you like this, man. Fucking art is for the game, not resolution and not what the frame rate cap is. Like, as long as the game runs at a consistent 30, fine. Anything above that, don't care. It runs fucking 30 or 60, whatever, don't care. I'm not picking and choosing. I'll be happy either way. But the way I look at it, man, from a graphical standpoint, man, if you're showing me your game from your art perspective and how you as a developer design your shit, then I have to respect that. Like, us as consumers, man, shouldn't be out here dictating on how a fucking game should look, especially for a next-gen game. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's biased in a way because fucking at that point we're dictating and telling the developer how the fuck they make their shit. At the end of the day,
I mean, when are we not? I want inclusiveness. Why aren't there any lesbians in our game?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just that girl came out today, or I think it was yesterday, talked about the whole entire shit about Tomb Raider and stuff like that again.
What'd she say?
About how she was sad that there was 3 guys in Grand Theft Auto 5 and not 1 girl thrown into the mix of that shit or whatever, some shit like that, man. I was like, really, man? I mean, fuck, dude. Like, I get it. But like, again, that's another notion where you're taking fucking, like, you're literally telling developers, hey, fuck you. We don't give a shit if you want fucking your game to have 4 guys as co-op partners. Put a chick in there because we say so. Like, I get that culture shit, like culture, you know what I mean, kind of crap with that. But at the same time, dude, like, again, you're literally telling your developer how to make this shit. It never used to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we never sat there and said, hey, Midway, we want Mortal Kombat, dude, even though fucking they made it themselves and it turned out to be an amazing experience for us. That's how games get, like, you know, that's how we buy games. Not by dictating on how a game should look, how a game should play, fucking whatever. Like, look at the whole controversy, and I know this is PlayStation related, but just real quick to add to that, look at the controversy that's surrounding Halo Infinite right now. The only reason why I'm not mad about how the game looks now compared to what we saw last year, because it does remind me a lot like Halo, because it looks like what Halo should be fucking looking like. Halo doesn't need to look like fucking Killzone Shadowfall. It doesn't need to look like Call of Duty. It needs to look like fucking Halo. And guess what? It fucking does. You know what I mean? Like, that's what matters, and that's what makes Halo Halo, right? And that's what makes Halo stand out. Minus the shit with the co-op stuff, that's whatever, here or there. But the point is, from a graphical fidelity, though, man, I think a lot of people take that way too seriously. And I think people that do take that way too seriously, and I hate saying this because I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack, but I've noticed that it's a lot of gamers that didn't really come up until the PS2 era, man, or just recently started getting recently into gaming. They're the ones going around saying that shit.
I will say this too.
Yeah,
man.
go on.
No, I do. I mean, we're talking a lot about.
I'm gonna put a pin in my statement.
I will say, you know, we are talking a lot about, you know, like, you know, people being obsessed with graphics and stuff like that, frame rates and resolutions, and a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter, you know, at the end of the day. However, I do think that there is a place for graphics as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have to realize as well that we live in a different time period. You know what I'm saying?
I'm slowly starting to accept that.
Yeah, you know, because
starting to accept that.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, it's just people respond to graphics. I mean, the first thing that they're going to see, or the first thing that they're going to respond to more than likely when they see a game is how the game looks. You know, so I think it definitely has its place in terms of like trying to push graphical fidelity. At the same time, I do think that there is like definitely a culture around the whole idea of graphics that is just it's completely just like.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. That's the thing. Like, I'm not anti-graphics. I'm not anti or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'll appreciate good graphics if it's there. Like, what I'm referring to is, it's like if you put that above gameplay, like, you can have the most stunning looking video game ever in history, right? But if that game's got mediocre fucking gameplay, or your gameplay is broken as fuck, your game as a whole is shit as far as I'm concerned.
Yo, Fatal.
That's just from my perspective.
I think you heard Devil Shooter's feelings. He said, "I'm from the PS2 era."
hey, listen, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just saying, like, and there's nothing wrong with being raised in the PS2. It's like, you have to remember, there's different generations of gamers when I was growing up, right? Same with you guys. You know what I mean? Not everyone's gonna fucking start on the fucking NES. Not because I wasn't there for the Atari. You know what I mean? Like, I was born after the Atari was already out and fucking game was already went under and shit. You know what I mean? But I still went back and played that shit. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying as a whole, maybe that was probably a really bad way of wording it, but I mean, there's a lot of people in this gaming community, right, who come up and think that, oh, this is what gaming was. And to an extent, like, they kind of tell you, but they tell you from their perspective, but they don't tell you, like, from the whole perspective of how gaming was. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of shit. Because now, like, when you take into account from, like, how games look, how people are very judgmental on that nowadays, and look at, like a game gets announced, oh, it looks like ass, I'm not playing it. And, or if a game doesn't sell well, like, A game doesn't matter if a game sells well in our eyes or not. It all depends on if that game was successful for the developer. That's what matters. Not us to boast fucking sale numbers and shit, because we gain nothing out of that except for what? Console war shit.
Console war bullets.
Yeah, the thing of it is, it's like you have to question yourself, okay, cool. Did these devs recover what they used to make this game from a budget standpoint? Because at that point, if the developer did, then it don't matter how many fucking units they sold after that, because that's just extra cash in their pocket. You know what I mean? And fucking, like, so that's a big fucking thing nowadays, that if a game doesn't sell a certain amount, even if you're indie to fucking AAA, it doesn't matter. Your game apparently sucks if it doesn't reach your amount. Metacritic has been a normal thing, which to me, to this very given day, I will forever fucking detest any review scores, because I think review scores are very manipulative and shit like that, because everybody just doesn't read the review and scrolls right down to see what the score is. I'm guilty of that myself, but at the same time, I don't ignore a game if it's scored below a fucking 6. You know, because that's how you find those gems, man. That, like, wait a minute, how the fuck is this a 5? The hell, this makes no sense.
Did you see the user scores for Ghost of Tsushima?
Or are they negative?
Yeah.
Bro, they're pretty low.
That's another reason why not to go on that site. But here's the thing, right? This is what kills me, fucking Josh. People despise journalism, right? At least from the video game perspective, and maybe other things too as well, because the way that shit's been going.
Bad journalism.
Like gaming journalism, right? We all sit there and hate that shit. We call RGN ignorant. We call fucking Polygon this. We do all that shit that for not beating their games. Only when it comes to Metacritic is when that shit is actually fucking relevant. So it takes an actual overall review score from what these motherfuckers that you criticize in order for you to convince yourself that, oh yeah, we should take this score fucking to heart. Fucking really, dude? Let alone when you're on Metacritic, but of course you're gonna get people that just randomly make fucking accounts to freaking put down a game that they dislike. That's the console war garbage narrative again right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking childish shit, man, at the end of the day. So the way I look at it, man, is like, whatever the fuck you enjoy, go play it. It don't matter if it's popular or not. Play what the fuck you like. You know what I mean?
Fuck you want to play.
Exactly. Exactly, yeah. It's like, nah, man, like, but don't get me wrong, like, yeah, we all participate in this fucking fake war. We all do. Josh, you included. Too as well. I hear you on the round table, motherfucker. But the thing is, I do the same too. It's just there for shits and giggles. It gives me a laugh to see people fucking react to when I say some stupid dumb shit on Twitter, in a video, or whatever the case may be. It's fucking hilarious to me. But it's so easy to fucking get people triggered over that dumb shit. If I were to go on Twitter right now and say, hey, Horizon, fucking, at least to me, was a mediocre, fucking shallow, fucking exclusive game, I get ripped a new one.
Bitch.
But even though that's not the case, because I played the game, I beat the game, and I fucking platinum motherfucker. So clearly
Josh,
I like the fucking game.
It was a shallow game. A mediocre game.
So here's the thing. Let me ask you this.
I would do that way.
Let me ask you this before we close up, right? You mentioned a good thing, right? You like Halo for what you like Halo for, right? Totally, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, that co-op was a massive L, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I get it, bro. But I get it. You mentioned that shit, and that's perfectly fine. And you really are supposed to like a game for the way that you like it. And I get graphics because you buy an expensive console. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you want it to be used to its full potential. But when I play games like Guilty Gear, right? That game isn't really doing anything graphically other than the fact that its cell shading is so curated, is on point. So to me personally, I don't want to say eyes of the beholder because there's a certain amount of effects that you can do, but this whole graphic obsession is really for tribalism. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
It's pretty much it.
Agreed. You're absolutely right on that. But
like no one can tell you, oh, you should really want more out of 343 Studios if that's what you like. There's plenty of people that go to McDonald's and off shit. There's plenty of people that go to Arby's and that. I can't judge them. I would never do this shit. And you like what you like, and I can't judge you for what you're saying. I can't. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that the stuff that I look for is not in Halo, and that's okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's not what you see fucking as Halo to be for you, then hey, by all means, man, talk that shit, bro. I ain't gonna judge you for that. That's your thoughts and your personal opinion. I can't technically attack you on that unless I wanted to fuck with you, like you do with the whole racism thing towards me. But I like that though because it's not true, but it gives me a laugh every time you do it. But you said a moment ago though, just real quick though, before we get out of here. You said a moment ago about like, oh, we buy these next gen consoles, and we definitely expect that level. Or, not exactly word for word, but generalize what you're saying about buying these next gen consoles and graphics should definitely be like priority, right? If that be the case, then we wouldn't be buying 90% of the other shit that we buy from indies to AAA. Outside from like first party developers should be pushing that shit, but a lot of other games that we do play, man, barely push that shit to its limits, man, barely. And like we still buy these games fucking every generation, no matter how the fuck they look, man. They can look cel shaded, they can look like fucking realistic, like Gran Turismo or Last of Us or whatever, right? But we're still buying these games every generation. Yeah, we are going to see generations where we get graphical leaps, like we did from the PS2 to the 360 era. That was a big ass fucking leap there. You know what I mean? But then we went from PS3 to PS4. We definitely got more of a resolution and frame rate fucking boost. We also did graphical boost too as well, because if it wasn't for the PS4, Horizon wouldn't exist, Ghost of Tsushima wouldn't exist. You get the idea. That kind of shit like that. But honestly, I get that part.
Honestly, I don't even think we even scratched the threshold for the graphics for this generation.
Hell no, we haven't.
Not even remotely.
As far as Xbox goes right now, as it stands, yeah, their console is fucking right with fucking shit, complete shit. And that's why I'm thankful that I'm holding off, because fucking I don't need to buy a console, right? And like, granted, there are a few games that I played so far, like the Ascent and shit like that I wish that I was playing on a new generation console because of how bad the version that I'm playing runs. But despite that, though, I still don't have a reason to upgrade yet, because you're not giving me a reason to upgrade yet. And like this power notion that Microsoft has, eventually that power will be untapped for Microsoft, but it's going to be untapped for PlayStation 2 as well. And when that happens, then what's going to happen? It's going to be the same song and dance we've been hearing since last generation 2 as well.
Same one.
Like, same one. Bullshit.
Same shit.
Except now we're going to be arguing fucking gay tracing. We're going to be arguing other stupid fucking shit that is not, like, if it's there, cool. If it's not, fuck, I don't give a shit. Just give me a goddamn game I'm going to have fun with playing.
I mean, it's cool to say that the game looks good. Like, wow, the graphics are good. It has this many effects, but at the same time, this whole like it's better on my console and this and this and this. That shit didn't really fly that much when it came to, like, every console had its own, its own things.
Like, did that stop PlayStation 3 for fucking selling how many copies of Skyrim, and Skyrim ran the worst on the PS3? Fuck no.
Nope.
Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, whatever version runs worse, people are still going to buy it regardless, because a lot of those people are like me. They don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't care if I lose 3 frames and during a cutscene. What is that going to do for me? I'm not playing the game, so I'm not even going to fucking notice it. Like, dude, I'm telling you, these people, man, they like, first of all, if you watch Digital Foundry, you already lose points with me already. Because you shouldn't even be fucking with goddamn Digital Foundry, because they're there for one reason alone. To zoom in 300 fucking zoom times to see what pixel that we can't even see with our own eyes when we're looking at our fucking 20-inch TV or higher screens that we all use. Like, fuck off, man. Really, why is that there?
I get them. They need to make their money, and I finally clicked with me. They do that shit because they need to make their money.
Of course they do.
It's a job,
right?
It's a job, so they're gonna have to have clickbaity shit because they need to make the money, and it works. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily upset about what they're doing. You know what I mean? So, by the way, this was a really, really good talk. Honestly, the Fatal, thank you so much for jumping in.
For coming in so late, dude, man. I got fucking Thrash pulled me aside, man, because he was talking to me about some shit that he was on there a little while ago. I'll tell you about it after when we're off air.
All right, cool then. Yeah, I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah, man, appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, anytime, man. Of course, man. I like being on here, man. That way I get to express fucking my love for fucking PlayStation, dude. So a lot of people out there think I fucking flat out hate PlayStation. Hell no, bro. You're fucking retarded, man. If you think that.
That's what we're here for, man.
Man.
We like to talk about the culture of PlayStation.
Yeah. There's not a damn thing wrong with that, dude.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, man. Facts.
But
hey,
you
you
know
deserve
what,
it, man.
before you close the show out, man, I do before I interrupt you, I do want to mention to everybody. Well, first of all, shout out to everybody who's been in the chat tonight. Devil Shooter, Magnificent Black, he's been in the chat. Umar is in the chat. I think that's pretty much who we had tonight, man. You guys were in here,
Pablo,
man. Which
Pablo
was
was there earlier, so he did his, he dropped his like.
Yeah, Pablo was in here. Appreciate
So
you
good,
too,
Umar and stuff like that. I'm sorry for being late. You want to know something too? I appreciate all the support, but it really, really makes the difference if if you are supporting like Umar and Magnificent Black and Devil Shooter. There's a lot of fake supporters out there that would be one and done shits. And I don't have any tolerance for that, honestly. That just really irritates the fuck out of me. But I digress. I'm not gonna get upset about it. It's very irritating, though. I will say that.
territory, man.
It does. It's
but
all
Hey, you
people.
deserve a lot more watchers than 7, bro, to be honest, dude.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
I had the same problem too as well, dude.
I'm not
Since
any.
my channel's kind of about drama and shit, yeah, it's very hard to get views, man.
It's YouTube that's causing a lot of issues. So
Oh, facts. Oh, super facts.
So I would have to pay for the views and bumps and bumps like that.
Yeah,
and it's fine. And eventually we are going to be doing that. So
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys.
But
yeah, anytime, everybody, anytime.
Just to finish it off, man. For everybody, if you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handle is Culture of PS, or you can just search PlayStation Culture on Twitter. You can also jump in the Discord, where we're in there joking all the time, and whatever, we kind of do our thing in there. So you should be able to jump into Discord from either the YouTube banner, or if you go to our Twitter, you can follow the link on our Twitter account and join there too. So but yeah, man, I think today was a good. I had a lot of fun talking with what we had to talk about tonight, to be honest. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on too, Fatal, man. Always good.
Anytime, sir. Anytime, guys.
I do always pop in like a wild Pokemon.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, because I can't. No, because I can't see you. I don't see your name. I just see like a fucking an icon. I'm like, who's that?
All you hear is the bleep.
I didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear it either, to be honest with you.
I gotta have my Hades avatar, bro. I gotta represent that greatness, man.
Oh God.
Oh, that game is good. Yo, by the way, I've been playing that game and it's really good, man.
Better than Returnal?
It's phenomenal.
Josh is hating on it. Josh is hating on it, man. That's
no, I'm not hating on it. Is it better than Returnal?
I'm not going to say that it's better than Returnal because I haven't played Returnal, but I can tell you it's definitely different to that of Returnal.
Different, you say?
Yeah, I mean, that's what separates roguelike games from all being different. Go play Risk of Rain 2, then go play Hades, and then play Returnal. You see how 3 games are completely different. Similar in nature, yes, but different.
No, is it a bullet hell?
No.
Somebody said it was bullet hell.
I think that was Black.
Who?
I think Black was the one who said that. Black
is a little lying, malignant bitch. Ew, you bitch. For lying. All right, guys, we out.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Later.